guys, what's up? My name's Kayla from Planning with Kay, and welcome back to another video. That's right, you read the title. I'm back here today with a monthly Plan With Me video where I'm going to be setting up all of my monthly spreads in my bullet journal, getting organized in here for the upcoming month of April, and best of all, getting creative and hanging out with you all. Every single month, I design my own stickers that I end up using to set up all of my bullet journal spreads. I do a different theme each month to keep things really fresh and exciting for me in my journal, and I'm so excited to reveal to you guys today my brand new Dinosaur Dreamland sticker collection. As usual, I designed this entire sticker collection by hand, drew out everything on my iPad using the app Procreate, and I'm just so happy with how these designs turned out. You can see a little time lapse off to one of the sides here showing part of that process, and I'm just so excited to be setting up all of my April spreads today using this brand new theme. This sticker collection is also so new, I just finished designing it just like a week or two ago, that it is not yet available in my shop for purchase like I normally would have it. If you don't know, my patrons over at patreon.com/planningwithkay are the ones that get first access to my new themed sticker collections that I design each month. So this Dinosaur Dreamland collection is actually going to be automatically shipping out to my $15 and up patrons before the end of this month. So if you do want to get your hand on these stickers as soon as possible, you can join my Patreon at the $15, $25, or $30 levels anytime before April 1st, and that will qualify you to receive this collection before it ends up getting listed publicly in my shop. When you sign up for Patreon, you also get access to over 3 years of content over there, including 3 years of printables, over 13 digital sticker collections, including this entire digital dinosaur collection, hundreds of live streams, and so much more. Finally, if you want to keep up with all of the new releases, new stickers, new spreads, everything that I'm creating all the time, I recommend you follow my Instagram at PlanningWithKay. I'm super active over there, constantly updating about the new stickers that I'm designing, new shop releases, and I post pretty much all of my bullet journal spreads over there and a ton of spreads that you'll never see here on YouTube. So everything that I mentioned, my Patreon, sticker shop, Instagram, all that jazz is going to be linked down in the description as usual. And with that, guys, let's jump right into my journal and start setting up my April bullet journal spreads. So to start off my monthly setup, as always, I'm going to create a decorative cover spread just to celebrate the start of a new month. I'm going to be using my Kuretake Gansai Tombow 48 set of watercolors throughout this setup today. I chose 4 pastel colors to match my stickers, and in case any of you guys are interested in those specific colors that I'm using from that set, here are the color numbers. The seafoam green is number 50, the pink is number 14, pastel purple is number 13, and finally, the light blue is number 69. So every month I always recruit help when it comes to deciding what theme I'm going to be doing. Sometimes I ask for suggestions on YouTube, sometimes I have my patrons come up with the suggestions, but this theme feels extra special because this was actually decided upon by kids. So I had asked my patrons to ask all of the kids in their lives for theme suggestions, whether it was their own children, family, friends, nieces, nephews, siblings, grandchildren, and the like. And I compiled some of the most popular suggestions into a poll. And by chance, 2 themes on that poll ended up tying at like 94 votes exactly each. And that was a dinosaur theme and a mythical dreamland theme. So I decided to combine them together, and that's where the Dinosaur Dreamland theme was born. I absolutely love this way of choosing themes by getting outside suggestions. I feel like it just makes my themes infinitely more creative than if I were to try to come up with them myself every single month. So for my next sticker collection that I'll be designing next month, I want to get suggestions from you guys who are watching this video right now. That's right, you right there listening to me talk. I want to know what bullet journal theme you want to see. So do me a favor right now, before you forget, go leave a comment down below suggesting a bullet journal theme that you want to see me turn into a sticker collection and use for a monthly setup. Also make sure to scroll through the other comments and like any other suggestions that really speak to you, because I'm going to be compiling the most popular and the most creative suggestions into a Patreon poll for my patrons to decide on the winner. If we end up choosing your theme as next month's sticker collection, not only will your comment be featured in a future video, but I'll also reach out to you once the stickers are finished to send you the entire collection for free as a thank you for the suggestion. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with in the comments, and as always, may the best theme win. On a serious note, before we dive fully into this monthly setup, I also wanted to take a moment to talk about the anti-Asian hate crimes that have been skyrocketing the last year, and specifically the devastating shooting that occurred this past week in Atlanta. I would hope that you guys have already been seeing this all over your social media feeds, but just in case you haven't, I want to stress how important it is that we all do everything we can to support and protect targeted communities day in and day out year-round. And right now, that is especially true for the AAPI, or Asian American and Pacific Islander communities. Some things that you can do to help include donating to organizations that fight against injustice towards AAPI, donating to the families specifically affected by anti-Asian hate crimes, reporting hate crimes if you witness them happening, spreading awareness and sharing resources with your social circles, and simply just being there to support and protect your AAPI family, friends, and colleagues. I'm going to link some specific resources down below in the description. Please do go check those out, especially if you need any more guidance on how you can help support the AAPI community during this traumatic time. And I hope that we're all pledging not to just be passive, but to actually be actively anti-racist every single day, and pledging to protect and to support all marginalized communities. My love and thoughts go out to all of my AAPI viewers, and I hope you're all doing okay. Okay, so I'm finishing up my decorative cover spread right here, and let me tell you, this got me so excited to set up the rest of these spreads. These 4 watercolors just blended together so beautifully. I loved using that big, juicy black Crayola marker for my April lettering, and seeing all the dinosaur stickers for the first time side by side at the bottom, I just had no idea how well it would all work together. And once it was done, I swear the spread really ended up being like a dream come true, and it quickly turned this into one of my favorite themes of all time. All of the supplies that I'm using, by the way, are going to be linked down in the description below, just like I do for every video. So if you want to know more about the specific pens or the notebook I'm using, anything else, just be sure to check out the description for all of the info. So moving right along, I'm going to be setting up the core component of my monthly bullet journal setup, which is my monthly overview and calendar spread. This month I've decided to do a Dutch door spread, which will give me a bit more space for all of my overview sections. I just cut off the rightmost 7 spaces on that right page, and that gives me my Dutch door flap, and it also gives space for this decorative sidebar. On the left page of this spread, I'm going to stick in one of my 2021 dated calendars from my sticker shop. I still can't get over how convenient these calendars are. I do think I may want to switch it up and start doing a larger calendar again sometime soon. So when that time comes, I'll be back to drawing in my calendars manually by hand. But for now, I'm really just loving being able to stick in one sticker and boom, call it done. I'm writing in the April header at the top of the page using that same black Crayola, just the classic marker you always had as a kid. I was so surprised to see this created such beautiful, bold black lettering. I'm definitely going to be using this marker more often in my bullet journal. Finishing up my April calendar, I just used some weekly headers from the Dinosaur Dreamland monthly kit, and then filled in the rest of the empty space with some decoration. Also, I'm really curious to know how many of you are Land Before Time fans. I was designing this collection during this month's Patreon live streams, and we got into a lot of conversations about Land Before Time. Obviously, this collection is definitely heavily inspired by Land Before Time, especially the Brontosaurus and the Tree Star vertical sticker that I stuck in on this sidebar. But talking about it with my patrons made me kind of like acknowledge that Land Before Time wasn't a thing in all countries, nor for all generations. So I'm curious, let me know down in the comments, are you a Land Before Time fan? Who's your favorite character? I always really liked Sarah, the Triceratops, when I was growing up, even though she was kind of mean. I just always really liked that like classic tough girl character. But I think nowadays Ducky might be my favorite, but it's definitely a tough call. So as I was setting the spread up, I realized that just by chance I had designed the perfect Easter theme because of those dino eggs. So I swapped out my decoration for the egg theme stickers, like the little eggs on the left in the calendar and that egg washi tape strip on the bottom. And then it was time to create my overview sections, which are going to include a monthly task list split into 2 categories for business and personal tasks, a monthly bills tracker, and a gratitude log. I'm putting that monthly to-do list on the front side of this Dutch door, a spot for me to just jot down any tasks that I know that I need to get done throughout the month of April, and the to-do list header sticker at the top of the page, as well as that monthly overview sticker on the right, and these circle lists that I just stuck in there are all included on the freebie sheet, and that comes with all orders from my shop and all Patreon rewards. Alright, so now flipping that Dutch door flap over, I'm going to create my headers for my bills and my monthly gratitude log sections, 2 categories that I love including on my monthly overview. To keep track of all of my monthly bills, I'm going to stick in a number strip sticker on the left that's also from that freebie sheet. You can tell I really utilized that freebie sheet this month. So here I'm just going to jot down all of the bills that I have to pay throughout the month next to the date that they're due. When a bill has been paid, I'll then just highlight that bill with a light gray marker. That's how I've been keeping track of my bills for quite a few months now, and it's really been working out. To finish this spread off, I'm going to create some sections for my gratitude log on the right side. I've really been enjoying these loosely structured gratitude logs where I'm not forced to write something down every single day. Instead, I just give myself a limited number of spaces to fill out throughout the month anytime that I please. This has been a really nice way for me to keep track of the best things that happen throughout the month. It's basically like a little memory log, but just focuses on the things that I'm extra grateful for. So it's been a really nice positive addition to my journaling practice the last 6 months. And I absolutely love how it turned out for this month. Again, I was just blown away by how these watercolors blended together so perfectly. If you want to give watercolor a try and create these color splashes like I often do in my journal, the key is to work quickly. You want for the paint to still be wet on the page when you go from one color to another, and that's how you get these beautiful blending between colors. So with that, my monthly overview spread is all finished, so let's turn the page and set up my daily review and mood tracking spread. Alright, so this spread here is where I jot down a 1-line summary as well as record my mood every single day throughout the month. I'm using these 2 dreaming dinosaur headers side by side at the top of the spread. I absolutely did not plan on laying these out this way when I designed the headers, but I just adore how they look side by side like this, just like way too cute, the little sleeping Triceratops and Stegosaurus. And I wrote in my headers with my favorite Tombow Fudenosuke hard tip brush pen. For my daily review page, I'm going to stick in this colorful number strip from that Dinosaur Dreamland monthly kit add-on sheet, and then I'll just draw in a box with a dividing line between each week. Some people have asked me exactly what I write in my daily reviews, and while it varies day to day, it's usually just like little sentence fragments describing key parts of the day. I don't really stress about capturing everything. But for example, today I might write, finished editing YouTube video, a productive Friday, yummy chicken for dinner. And that'd be it. Now for my mood tracker, I'm using one of my mixed number sheets to label my 30 days of the month, and I'm going to be creating a color in style tracker. I really love seeing these types of trackers filled up throughout the month. I feel like it's a little hard to really see the fun in one of these spreads when it's blank like it is now, because it's really all about that filled up end of the month spread that's really satisfying. And successfully filling out my mood tracker really is like a little victory. It's almost like extra motivation for me to actually keep up with my monthly spreads and fill out everything regularly. So that way I get that little gift of seeing this spread all colored in and filled out at the end of the month. I'll insert a few photos here of my past filled in trackers so you can see what I mean. Isn't it satisfying? So this month I just drew in a bunch of little eggs, leaning into that Easter vibe, and I'll just color in the egg with the corresponding color matching with my mood. And just like that, my daily review and mood trackers are all done, so let's turn the page and set up my next April bullet journal spread. So this spread here is going to have my monthly brain dump as well as my April playlist page, and I'm creating 2 symmetrical headers at the top using these big cloud stickers that are on that exclusive Patreon only sticker sheet that I create for my top level patrons every month, and then just sticking in some dino stickers right next to those. So my brain dump, same as every month, is basically just like a random catch-all page for any notes, ideas, or thoughts that don't quite fit anywhere else. I like to keep track of sticker idea suggestions on this page, jot down random finance calculations like adding up all my bills for a week. Sometimes I'll write in upcoming theme ideas or content ideas. It really depends month to month, but usually this page ends up being useful for something or another, which is why I continue to include it in every monthly setup. My playlist page is a newer addition the last few months and is just a spot for me to write in all of the best media that I consume that month. This month, I'm specifically creating categories for books that I'm reading / audiobooks that I'm listening to, a section for movies that I watched this month, and finally a section which I'll use to record any new music I discover or any records that I purchase, since my husband Jake and I are trying to beef up our record collection a little bit. Sometimes I'll also include podcasts or TV shows. It really just depends on how I'm feeling that month. I've really been loving my playlist pages the last couple months, and so much so that in the near future, I'm going to be creating some new spreads in my long-term collections journal to keep long-running lists throughout the year of everything that I'm consuming, like books, movies, TV shows, music, etc. And I love knowing that I have these monthly spreads here, so that way I can transfer everything over to those long-term spreads once I have them set up. And of course, I'll be sure to film the setup of those collection spreads for a future 5 types video. So I'm just finishing this spread up with a little quote at the bottom. All of the quotes here were provided by my patrons since I was live streaming this setup. So a special thank you to Lisa Marie for suggesting this egg-related quote. She also has a YouTube channel that's called the Tenderhearted Journaler. You should all go check that out. I'll be sure to link it somewhere in the description down below. And let's just take a second to appreciate how cute that singing T-Rex is on the playlist page. The sticker collection was full of these happy accidents, like things that I was not thinking about while designing the stickers that just happened to work out perfectly once I was setting these spreads up, like that singing dinosaur, like the eggs for Easter. It all just came together so perfectly, and I absolutely love how that spread turned out. Alright, so on the next page here, I'm going to create a separate calendar for my monthly live stream schedule. I would usually use a Patreon calendar printable or something like that just to stick in for this page, but since I used a sticker for my main calendar, I figured I'd take the time to show you guys a hand-drawn alternative. So I'm just drawing out a 1-page calendar. Each day gets a spot that's 3.5 spaces wide by 4.5 spaces tall, and then using those same markers to letter in the header live stream schedule. I live stream at least 7 times a month on Patreon, and I absolutely dread missing a live stream or being late to a stream. So I really make it a point to try to not forget any of my live streams, which is why I like to have a completely separate calendar to reference for these. I do still include my live streams on my main calendar as well, but that's because repetition is key for me in my journal. If something is extra important, or if I know that I'm inclined to forget about it, I'll make it a point to write it down in more than one spot in my journal, therefore minimizing any chance of forgetting it. When I started bullet journaling back in college, I had this same strategy with my assignment deadlines. In freshman and sophomore year, I developed the terrible habit of forgetting about due dates. So when I started bullet journaling junior year, I made sure to write down the important deadlines multiple times in my journal. On my weeklies, my dailies, I had separate spreads just for my assignments, and this worked so well for me that I went from C's to A's basically immediately after starting bullet journaling. So as someone who has a terrible memory, I still live by that. Write it down again, and then write it down again, and then maybe I'll remember it. Next to my live stream schedule, I'm just creating a decorative quote page. I loved how the cover spread turned out so much that I knew that I wanted to do another page in a similar style with a big watercolor splash, some dino stickers, and a quote right in the middle. This is also my last monthly spread before I move on to setting up a weekly spread for the first week of April, so I thought that a decorative filler page like this matching that cover spread would be a nice transition from monthlies to weeklies. While I'm doing this watercolor splash, I thought I'd also answer a question I got on my Instagram about how to handle watercolor bleeding, which is when your watercolors in your journal are soaking through to the other page. And firstly, if you use watercolor regularly in your journal, I would first maybe figure out if you're using the right journal for that, because it could be possible that your paper is maybe a little bit too thin to handle the watercolor. I've been using watercolor in my Archer and Olive 160 GSM journals, and I haven't had any issues with bleeding. If your paper isn't the issue, you could always try maybe using a bit less water. You can account for bleed through by using like printables or stickers or washi tape or something else on the other side to cover it up. Or you could use watercolor on a separate piece of paper and then paste that into your journal. Those are just a few workarounds, but it really just depends on your preferences. So here on this A Land Before Time inspired page, my patron Chelsea suggested this quote that Littlefoot's mom said to him, which says, "Let your heart guide you. It whispers, so listen closely," which is just way too cute. I paired it along with a cuddling Brontosaurus sticker that we'll imagine is Littlefoot and his mom, some tree stars floating around them to complete the scene, and a little pterodactyl sticker at the top. After filling in the background with some stars and sparkles, that's it for this spread, and time to set up my first weekly spread for the month of April. So this weekly dashboard is going to be for March 29th through April 4th, and it's going to be a spot to keep track of any bills, live streams that are scheduled for this week, as well as any tasks that need to be accomplished that week. I plan on using daily logs throughout this week as well for my in-depth daily to-do lists, so I'm not going to worry about having too much room for each day here. I just want this spread to serve as more of a summary of my week, highlighting the most important things to remember. My bill and live stream schedule is going to be on the left side of this spread. Each day gets a spot that is 3.5 spaces tall here, and I'm using these cloud headers from the monthly kit along with these number stickers to label the 7 days of the week. I do typically like switching things up in my journal. Sometimes I use weekly spreads alone without any separate daily logs. Sometimes I like having weekly dashboards alongside dailies that I set up throughout the week, like I'm doing for this week. It just depends on my mood, how busy I am that week, and how much time I want to spend setting up bullet journal spreads. Sometimes I'll create dailies just for the fun of it because I enjoy the process of creating the spreads and I want to spend some time being creative. My journal really is like a sketchbook or an art journal for me paired with a planner. It's a functional item, but it's also a therapeutic activity and like a creative release for me. So a lot of the times my planning structure revolves around how my journal is serving me in that moment. Sometimes it's more about the function, sometimes it's more about that therapeutic side of it, but usually it's really like a combination of the two. So on the right side of the spread, I'm going to create a big section for a running task list for the week. The end and start of the month is always an extra busy time for me, so I want to make sure that I have plenty of space to prep for the week and write out all of the things that I intend on doing. And then as the week goes on, I can migrate those tasks to my daily to-do lists and check them off one at a time. I was then going to include a section for next week until I realized that I'd forgotten to include a monthly habit tracker by mistake. Here's my real-time reaction to that discovery while I was setting this up mid-live stream. Oh, I totally forgot to set up a habit tracker. That's okay, I'm going to turn this into my habit tracker then. Totally did not mean to not do a habit tracker, but I'm rolling with it. I haven't done weekly habit trackers in quite a few months, so this will just be a reason to revisit weekly habit trackers, see how that works for me. Thanks for the reminder, Chelsea. Otherwise, I would have just been really confused when I got to the point where I was like, where's my habit tracker? Did I not set one up? So yeah, I just rolled with it. Like Bob Ross says, there's no mistakes, only happy accidents. So I took this as a sign to just ditch monthly habit tracking for the month of April, because why not? And instead go back to weekly habit tracking, which is a system I know that I also really enjoy. So I turned that box on the right into a habit tracker for the week. I was still able to fit all of the usual habits that I'd include on a normal monthly habit tracker, and I just divided the box into two sections, one for business habits and one for personal habits. I also just love that little dinosaur in the quote under the tracker, a little waving T-Rex saying, "Let the world hear your roar." And with that, that's it for this weekly, and I'm all set up and ready for April in my bullet journal. And with that, guys, that is it for my April bullet journal setup. I hope you guys loved watching me set up all of these pastel dino-themed April spreads in my bullet journal today. I know I had such a fun time setting them up, and I'm just really happy with how everything turned out. It makes me really excited for April and excited to actually get to use all of these spreads next month. Don't forget that if you want to receive this dino-themed sticker collection as soon as possible, you can sign up for my Patreon. The $15 up tiers all come with those automatic sticker deliveries, and if you sign up before April 1st, you will get your hands on this sticker collection before it becomes available for purchase in my shop. You can also follow my Instagram to keep up with when that collection does become publicly available later this month, and of course I'll have everything linked down below: Patreon, sticker shop, Instagram, all the supplies I used, everything. So take a peek at the description after this video, and I hope you guys enjoy all of the new content. With that, guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Don't forget to leave those theme suggestions down in the comments below for next month, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!